Hey, good morning, everyone. How you doing? It's a slightly different time, right? We normally do this in the afternoon, so we get the pleasure of practicing together on a Tuesday morning, 11 a.m. So thank you for coming along. We are going to do plenty of stuff today. We're going to do a little bit of work into our hips, our lower limbs. In chair yoga, sometimes we're drawn to kind of move more of our upper body, right? Our torso, shoulders, we do twists, we do those sun salutations. But I thought what we do today is we'll start kind of in our lower body and kind of work on the ankles, work on the hips a little bit, kind of stretch the legs out, and just see where we go from there. And then we'll probably get into some of the sun salutations in a little bit of time. So let's just spend a minute at the start, just settling ourselves. Make sure your chair feels quite sturdy, right? 4 legs, nice supported back, something that you're not going to tip off. And if you can, kind of root your feet down into the floor and then see if you can lengthen your spine. Don't overthink any of this stuff. It's nice, gentle yoga this morning. And if it feels okay, maybe you close the eyes and see if you can just spend a little bit of time just arriving, scanning your body. And maybe just checking in with your breath. And if you can, breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the nose, but no need to get too fussy about any of this stuff. You just find those movements and then stillness that feels good for you, and then just breathe in a way that feels natural. Eyes can be closed, or the gaze is just soft. Just a couple more rounds of breath. And then very gently, just dropping your chin down and just kind of working a little bit through your neck and your head, just before we kind of move into our legs. Maybe just do these little half moon shapes, little rocks from side to side. Keep kind of feeling into your spine and your shoulders. Make sure you've got plenty of room to breathe into. And these movements can be tiny, right? Little, subtle. Or if you wanted to, you can circle your head out. So maybe kind of pick a direction and circle your head out. Be nice and slow as you do that. You can even kind of move with the breath. So sometimes it feels good just to inhale as the head comes up like this, and then exhale as the chin just falls back down towards your chest. Gentle stuff, right? Never kind of push through any of this stuff. Make it nice and free. And then you can come back the other way if you haven't already. Just circle your head out. Keep your jaw nice and soft. A little gap in between the teeth, maybe. Maybe it feels a little different side to side. However you're moving, if you're moving with me, then a couple more rotations. If you were just rocking your chin a little side to side, or you might have even found stillness, then we'll all bring our heads back up to center. When your head arrives, balance it on top of your neck and take a full exhale. Beautiful. Nice. Really beautiful. All right, we're going to move through the legs a little bit now. So kind of think about how you're sat. In fact, you might bring one of your hands onto your lower back, kind of on your sacrum area, which is right at the bottom of your spine. See if you can just encourage your spine to lengthen here. But then think about how your shoulders are positioned and make sure your shoulders are relaxed. So there's a little engagement, not an engorgement, there's an engagement in your core, right? Your kind of center of your body. So you kind of tuck the pelvis in, and then the spine rises, and then the shoulders relax. So you make sure you're in this position that kind of supports the lower spine and the hips. All right, you can remove that hand if it's still there. And then the good thing to do here is if you've got a nice steady chair like I have, place your hands on the side of the chair and just lengthen out through your right leg. So that takes a little bit of effort, right? One of the things that generally happens is you'll lean back a little, you might lean forward a little. See if you can find that length in the spine. And then just flex and point your toes. So on an inhale, you might point. On an exhale, you might flex. Quite hard work, right? And then maybe do some nice circles with your foot. Don't have to lift the foot too high or the leg too high. You can kind of drop the leg down to this sort of height. You can lift the leg up. Maybe come back the other way. Nice. And then bend that knee in. And then what you're going to do is you're going to make a basket grip around the knee. If you can't grab around the knee, it feels too far away, grab like a tea towel, get someone to, if you've got a strap, then brilliant, right? But if you've got something like a tea towel or a small towel, you can kind of grab behind the back of the leg and you kind of extend your arms out. So that can make it a little bit more accessible. If someone's near you and you can't go around the knee, then ask them to grab something for you. Or you can do it this way, right? And just make a basket grip and just squeeze the knee in. So you feel that nice compression. Spine remains long, shoulders remain lax, and the core, the belly remains engaged. Couple of breaths. Maybe close the eyes. Don't feel like you have to be super still. You can move around a little bit with that knee. Nice work. And then if you can, release the left hand and the right knee's in the right hand. Maybe you just open that right knee out just a little bit. Root down through the left foot so you find that stability. You might even bring the left hand down onto the side of the chair. And then you can kind of do this little external rotation. So just a tiny movement, or maybe it's a little bigger. Don't worry about what this looks like. It's all in the feeling, right, yoga? So just little movements if that's right for you today. Beautiful. And then bring that right foot down. Have a little adjust out through your seat, and then we'll do all of that on the other side. I should say, actually, when you've got your left leg now long, if you wanted to, you can make a basket grip around the back of the left leg just to support the leg out. If it feels way too much, just kind of bringing that strength in. You'll feel it in the outer left hip, right? Find your alignment again. Let's do it this way on this foot. On this leg, and point and flex the toes. Exhale as you point, inhale as you flex. Just a few rounds. And notice how that feels in your ankle, in the foot. Maybe you feel it in the front of the leg, the calf, the shin. And then if you wanted to, you can kind of circle the foot out. They don't have to be complete circle, just little movements can feel really nice. Beautiful. And then keep the leg lifted, make that basket grip, or hold a strap or a towel around the back of that left thigh, and then squeeze the left knee in. Root down through the right foot, so that can bring stability. Spine is long, and then sort of engage through the core, through your lower spine, and make sure your shoulders are relaxed. You might even close your eyes for a few breaths here. You don't have to pull too hard. I'm going to sneeze, so excuse me while I do this. Excuse me. All right, if you wanted to, you can open out through this left hip. So you can release the right hand and then maybe just bring this little movement in. One usually follows two, right? All right. Little external rotation of this left knee. I will recover. Still got an itch. Nice. And then maybe make that basket grip one final time. Squeeze that left knee in. And then bring the left foot down. All right, bring your feet a little wider if you can. So what I'll do here is I'll just kind of shuffle my bottom forward. So I'm right on the edge of my chair. I'm going to spin my toes out. I'm still thinking about, in fact, we can all do this. You can bring our hands, fingers pointing forward, thumbs pointing back onto our hip creases right at the top of the legs, kind of the hip bone. Bones of the pelvis, I guess. Kind of root down through the outer edge of your feet so you don't collapse into the inner arches of your feet. So you kind of bring a little bit of awareness and I guess engagement into the legs. So the legs aren't passive here. You're kind of rooting down. You've got your head balanced perfectly on top of your spine. Hands are on the hips, so you're encouraging the heart space to open. See how deeply you can breathe. And then if you wanted to here, you can sit up tall like I am, or you can just hinge forward just a little bit. So keeping the hands where they are maybe. Try not to kind of push too far here. I get to about here, so I'm keeping my spine long. See, my heart center is kind of lifted still. I'm not rounding into my spine at all. So there's a nice rocking forward of the pelvis. Hopefully you feel this a little more into the hips and a little more into the lower part of the spine. Wherever you find yourself, take one more deep inhale. And then as you exhale, come all the way back up. Heel toe the feet in. So now the feet become a lot narrower. And then again, just adjust the feet. All right, from here, we're going to do a little bit of pigeon pose, seated pigeon. So remember, The version which I'm going to do most is I'm going to lift up through the right foot. I'm going to place my right foot over my left thigh. Now, if that feels too strong, because it is quite a big stretch into the hip, you can do it this way. You can just bring the right foot onto the blade edge, so the outer part of the right foot. You see this right knee, it's an external rotation. I've got an opening in this hip already, so I can feel it. So that might be where you go. You can always cross the right foot over the left foot, and then there's a little more of a cross, and then you might feel that a bit deeper. But you need to experiment with this one, probably. I'm going to bring my right foot up, and I'm going to cross it over my left thigh. I'm really wary of my right knee. Not wary, but kind of mindful of my right knee. So I want to make sure that I feel no strain in this right knee at all. In fact, you can do this. Bring the right hand onto the right knee. Bring the left hand onto your right toes. So you kind of support that leg out. You can tuck these right toes back. In fact, you can give the toes a little push with the hand, with that left hand. And then that will kind of protect the knee just a little bit. All right. From here, you can stay nice and tall. Or maybe you do that little forward fold again that we just did with the legs wider. So I get to about this point on an exhale. That's enough, right? I can feel a deep compression in that right hip. I don't want to push any further. This is really good. You know, these kind of movements are great for doing in the chair because, you know, they're accessible. They're all the poses that we do if we're doing yoga on a yoga mat. But if we're doing them in a chair, they become available to all of us, right? They're just different versions, but the stretch is exactly the same. You're going to feel it in the same way. As you exhale, come all the way back up. Beautiful. And then you can uncross the leg. I'll do it really gently. I'll keep my right hand on my right knee. I'll keep my left hand on my right foot. And then I'll slowly unravel. Then have a little move from side to side, maybe. Just kind of swing the arms a little. Make sure you've got enough room. Kind of free everything up. Don't worry about what this looks like. All right, and then we'll do the other side. So remember, have a little move around. Be right on the edge of your chair, not to the point where you're going to tip off. That'd be ridiculous, right? But make sure you're stable. If you sit forward on your chair, your spine is encouraged to kind of be supported in terms of, you know, the length that you bring into it. And then remember, you can bring left foot next to the right foot. Nice external rotation of that left hip. You can cross it over. Or you can join me by bringing the left foot onto the right thigh. All right. Don't feel like you need to sort of find the shape straight away. I want to make sure that my right knee and my right ankle are kind of lined up. So I'll play around with the right foot. I want to make sure that there's no pain in that left knee. I can bring my right hand onto my left foot, my left hand onto my left knee. All right. Take a couple of breaths and just breathe into the shape you found yourself in, and kind of feel into the shape as well. You know, I can already feel this. My left hip is a little tighter than my right, so that's a pretty strong stretch. You might, on an exhale, again, keep the hands where they are, just begin to bring the chest forward. And the more you do that, probably the more you'll feel that stretch in that outer left hip. You know, if I kind of begin to forward fold, every exhale, every inch by inch I come down, it gets stronger. And I don't want it to be too strong. I want it to be, you know, not too much, not too little. You know, the aim here is to keep getting back onto our chair and practice yoga every week. So we certainly don't want to push too far where we injure ourselves, or we don't want to come back because it just felt too rough for us. So be gentle with your practice. One more round of breath, deep inhale. And then a full exhale. Come all the way back up. And then again, keep the hands where they are. Just unravel. And bring the feet all the way back down. And then make sure your spine is positioned nicely. It's nice and long. You've got a lot of room to breathe into. Inhale to bring the hands all the way up. And then as you exhale, bring the hands all the way back down. And do that 3 more times just to kind of move into the upper body. Inhale to sweep the arms up. Exhale, comb the arms down. 2 more like that. Inhale up. And exhale down. And then 1 more. Inhale up. And then this time, as you exhale down, twist to the right. So bring your right hand onto the side of your chair. And then bring your left hand across so it's on your right knee. Inhale to find length. Exhale into your twist. So twisting towards the right. Nice thing about chair yoga is you get the chair to kind of, I don't know, twist against. It's nice. You know, you can kind of hold onto the chair. It gives you maybe a little bit more twist in your spine. So rolling the right shoulder back, the left shoulder forward. One more round of breath. Deep inhale. And take a full exhale. Nice. Inhale to bring the hands all the way back up. Sweep up towards the sky. Stretch up. And then exhale, left hand down, right hand onto the left knee or the outer left thigh. Inhale to find length, and then exhale into your twist. Nice deep inhale. A full exhale. So this time you're rolling the left shoulder back, the right shoulder forward. One more round of breath. Exhale. And then bring your hands back to center. Next inhale, bring the hands all the way back up. This time clasp the hands, push the palms up. Exhale, round your spine, push the palms forward. So you tuck your navel back towards your spine, and then you round the shoulders. Inhale to expand, lifting up, relaxing the shoulders, but the arms are nice and high. And then exhale to round into your spine. 3 more like that. Inhale up. Exhale, round. Inhale up. And exhale to round. One more time to inhale up. And then exhale to comb the arms all the way down, really slowly. Very, very gently as you do that. All right, let's do a side bend. Should we do it this way? Let's kind of bring, you might kind of want to move on your chair. So the best way to do this is kind of, you bring yourself over towards the left and then lengthen out through that left leg. So I'm kind of, you can see I'm more kind of on the side of my chair. It means I can lengthen this left leg out, right? If I do it from the center, let's just see what that happens. Because, you know, my side of my chair is a bit higher. It's really hard for me to get my leg out. So you sometimes need to move on your chair. So if you can do this, if it feels too much, having this left leg long, you press into the outer edge of the left foot, you know, just do it with the feet well, as they were, kind of grounded underneath your knees. You don't have to do it this way. Inhale to sweep the arms up. As you exhale, bring the left hand down and then fold over towards that left leg. So the left leg that is long, you're feeling that stretch down the right side of your body. Nice. Take one more round of breath. Nice deep inhale. As you exhale, come back to center, and then we'll just swap that out. So you might bring the hands onto the chair, bring the knees back to center. Before we move to the other side, just a little bit of movement through the hips. So bring the hands onto the knees and then just circle your torso out a few times in one direction. Kind of just making these circles, freeing everything up, and then a few times in the opposite direction. Beautiful. And then we'll do that on the other side. So I'm going to shuffle kind of half off my chair. Now I find that my sit bones are right on the edge of the chair. And then I'll lengthen out through that right leg. Kind of have a little play around. Kind of inch my right toes forward so they're sort of in line with my left toes. So I've got that alignment. Inhale to sweep the arms up. Right hand down. And then fold over towards that right leg with the left arm. Don't have to come down very far, right? You just want to feel this stretch down the left side. One more round of breath. Deep inhale. And then a full exhale. Bring that left hand down. Support yourself as you come back to center, nice and gently and slowly. And then bring in the hands onto the knees, just some nice seated cat-cows. Just did it with the arms lifted, but this time inhale to drop the belly down. Lift your head, lift your heart, and then exhale to round your spine. That's it. Inhale forward. Exhale to round. Inhale, bring the heart through, lift the head, maybe look up. You've already moved through the neck, and then exhale to round. Nice. 2 more times. Inhaling up. Exhale to round. Then 1 more time. Inhale up. And then exhale to round. Beautiful. Give the hands a little shake out. When you're ready, inhale to bring the arms up. As you exhale, comb the arms down, and then bring the hands onto your thighs. And then from here, we're just going to do a little forward fold again. We've already done a few already. So as you exhale, just begin to bring your torso forward. So this might be enough, right? If it's enough, stay where you are. if you can find a little more fold without putting too much strain on your spine, no strain, right? But you don't want to be kind of feeling anything untoward here. If it feels okay, you might release the hands down and run the hands down the shins or rest them on the knees, kind of round your spine completely here. Head is nice and loose. You can always support the head out. You can always bring the hands like this and hold opposite elbows on the knees and just support your head out so there's no strain in the back of your neck. So your choice how you do that. Take a deep inhale. And then as you exhale, just come all the way back up. However low or high you were, we'll all meet in the same place. All right, let's do that again with a little twist. So inhale to sweep the arms all the way up. And then as you exhale, hinge and fold and come all the way down. This might be where you stay, right? You can bring left hand on the left knee, and you might just bring the right hand on the right hip and just open towards the right. So you do this little twist. If you've got a little bit more room, you can bring the left hand down and you fold a little more. Maybe the left hand's on the ankle or on the foot. And if everything feels okay, you might even consider lifting out through the right arm. So you feel this nice twist as you forward fold. Maybe it's better if the right hand is just here on the right hip. You can look beyond the right shoulder, or you can just gaze towards the right, your choice. Wherever you found yourself, take one more round of breath, deep inhale. And then as you exhale, come all the way back to center. Even your spine up. Then we're going to lengthen our spine. So inhale to just draw the hands up towards the knees. Nice. And then exhale to hinge and fold. Your right hand might stay where it is. Your left hand might come onto your left hip. Exhale, twist towards the left. Roll the left shoulder back. If you feel like you've got more room on the right, you can bring the right hand down. You can fold a little deeper. The final thing, remember, you can do is you can lift the left arm up. So in this nice expansive twist. Breathe in here, nice deep inhale. Maybe it's better. Full exhale for the hand to be on the hip. Couple more rounds of breath. Nice work, everyone. As you exhale, bring the hands all the way back down, and then inhale to lengthen your spine. Hands all the way up onto the knees, roll your shoulders back. Final time, exhale, hinge and fold. Root down through the feet. Inhale, bring the hands high and wide. Bring them all the way up. And then exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Beautiful. Really nice work. Fantastic. All right, bring the hands onto your thighs or onto your knees. Maybe close your eyes again if that feels okay. And then just roll your shoulders. You can do it with your eyes open. It doesn't matter. Roll the shoulders a few times forwards. If you're going backwards, then swap it out and go forwards. I'm going to come back now. Kind of freeing up any tension, this part of the body. Beautiful, really nice work. And then just shrug your shoulders a few times. So hands down, inhale up, exhale down. Really exhaling, dropping the shoulder blades down your back. You can do it this way, right? You can lift one shoulder up, lift the other shoulder up, whatever feels good for you. Nice. And then bring the shoulders back to center. And then the final bit we'll do before our final relaxation will be piecing all of those little bits together. So we did something like this last week. So we're going to run through those seated sun salutations. So we've pretty much done all of the parts. Now we'll bring them all together. So bring the palms face forward. Inhale to sweep the arms all the way up. Exhale to hinge and fold and come down. So you're in that forward fold, seated forward fold. Nice. Keep the left hand onto the left ankle or the left knee. Inhale, right hand on the right hip, twist into the right or lifting out through the right arm. As you exhale, bring the right hand down, bring the left hand onto the left hip, twist to the left or bring your left arm up. That's it. Exhale. Nice. This time, inhale to draw length in your spine. Come up nice and high, so the spine is long. Exhale to hinge and fold. Root down through your feet. Inhale to come all the way up. And then exhale, frame your hands to your heart. So one movement, one breath. That's one round. Let's go again. Inhale up. Exhale to fold. Keep the left hand down. Inhale, right hand, right hip, or lift the right hand up. Exhale, come back to center in your fold. Right hand down. Inhale, left arm up on the hip, or lifting the left arm all the way up. Exhale to hinge and fold. Root down through the feet. Inhale, up to a flat back. I nearly missed that out. Exhale to hinge and fold. Rooting down through the feet. This time, inhale to come all the way up. Jump the gun there. Exhale. Bring your hands to your heart. Let's do one more. Inhale up. Exhale, fold. Nice. Keep the left hand down. Inhale, right arm on the right hip, all the way up. Twist to the right. Exhale, hinge and fold. Inhale to the left. Exhale to fold. Inhale to bring the hands up the shins or onto the knees. Flat back. Exhale to fold. Root down through the feet. Inhale to come all the way up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Let's do one more. We've got time. Final time. We'll do it. Inhale up. Exhale, fold. Inhale to the right. Exhale to fold. Inhale to the left. Exhale to fold. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale to fold. Root down through the feet. Inhale, come all the way up. And then exhale, frame your hands to your heart. And then just pause here. Bring the hands down. Take a couple of breaths. Maybe notice the effects of your practice. And then the final part of the class is just in Shavasana. So you can stay exactly as you are. If you want to make it a little more relaxing, you can sit back in your chair. Make any adjustments that feel good. I'll probably just sit back to make it a little more relaxing. Bring your hands wherever feels good. I just kind of stack my hands on top of each other. Make sure my shoulders are relaxed. Just a minute or two in stillness. Just noticing the effects of your practice. Just let all the amazing work you've done settle. And then from here, just bring in some tiny little movements back into your body. Do that very gently and slowly. Maybe start with your fingers and your toes. And you can make the movements a little bigger if you want. You probably don't need to, right? But sometimes nice to sit up a little taller if you've been sitting back in your chair. Maybe a full body stretch if you can. One final little move out through your body. Nice, beautiful. And then frame your hands to your heart. And if it feels okay, press your thumbs into your sternum. And then just with a wholehearted bow, wish yourself well, wish everybody else well. Namaste. All right, thanks you guys. Thanks for coming around long today. It's nice to practice with you all. Hopefully it did the trick. Plenty of movement today, right? Plenty of movement in the lower body, plenty of movement in the upper body. Hopefully we kind of brought it all together. Remember, you can catch up on any of this content on Facebook, on YouTube. I think that's a really great way to kind of look at what content is coming and look back on some of the content that has been, right? So make sure you stay in touch on things like Instagram, TikTok. There's always lots and lots of content being put out by the lovely people at the Virtual Village Hall. I'll be back here on Thursday for a 30-minute mat yoga class. We'll do some similar stuff that we did in the chair. But for now, I'll say goodbye. And I'll see all you guys maybe next week for chair yoga, or maybe on Thursday for mat yoga. All right, everyone. Take care. Thank you for joining. Bye.